Oh yeah. It's 7:15. Yeah, 7:15 right now. Bam! I said, what's my name? You supposed to say DJ Khaled. You're not listening. You know DJ Khaled for you. What's wrong with you?
Trying to respond to the people.
The peoples? The peoples?
The people come first, sweetie.
What? The peoples? I remember back when the peoples. Shoot. 166 people was a hot night, remember? Shoot, we was killing it.
What you're seeing right here is sick.
We was killing it. Man, back then, man. Do y'all remember back then? I don't think y'all remember back then. I remember back then, before the fancy backgrounds, doing in the other room, you know what I mean? The table was like a little different, you know, no mics. We was in here raw. Just in here, just getting the news, man. That was when it was funnest, for real. It was funnest then. You know what I'm saying? I like that, man. I mean, the background is fancy now. Miss BB got color on. I got color on. You know what I'm saying?
I started with color. Crenshaw.
You showed it.
Shout out to Nipsey.
Well, I didn't think I started wearing the polo until about like 2 months later. I was like, I'm gonna wear anything. I didn't care. I would do it.
I was wearing Marathon before people knew about Marathon.
Yeah, for real. Before I even knew about Marathon, was shout out to Nipsey Hussle. R.I.P. King.
First video I had.
Shout out to the first 69 people that listened to our live, if they still listen to us.
Yeah.
I don't even know who they are. If you are one of the original 69, let me know, man. I will mail you an Astro shirt.
Wait, when we were mukbanging?
Yeah, when we was mukbanging. When we was getting all kinds of hate slugs. Remember that? Y'all fat, y'all this, y'all that. Now y'all, what y'all do? Y'all be tuning in, man. Be getting it.
We got our loyal folks.
Man, I got some real loyal peoples on my team, man. My crew, I call them a gang, gang, gang. Man. Shout out to the crew, man. Shout out to the King of Gurus, man. Patreon for life, for real.
He was dying to go live, you guys.
Man, I was, for real. About to do this, man. This is what I do, man. Missing last night was an integral part of my psyche. You feel me? So tonight, man, I think I was going to give the peoples what they actually want, right? What the peoples really, really want is to be able to ask questions, right? Call in, whatever. I'm going to get Pimp to call in. I want everybody to post my line. Just bang that line. Bang the snot out of it. I'll answer it on the bang my line. Call me. Call me. You know, if you big Jaw fans out there, I'm a big YouTube watcher now. Y'all don't understand. Before me and Miss BB really started doing our thing, I used to watch cable. I got all my information from cable. Man, I was a reader, but man, I mean, nothing like I am now. I'm ferocious with the books. I'm ferocious with the ads. I'm ferocious with the news, man. I'm just, man. And you know what led me to do this? I saw some other people out there putting up videos, wanting to be first about the whole, you know. Do y'all know? Do y'all really know? Because if y'all don't know, man, I've been talking about this since December, before Christmas. If you go back in the archives, and you can go back and hop back in the archives, look before Christmas, and I was talking about getting rid of a lock. Y'all don't even feel me on this. Getting rid of a lock, starting to introduce policy and procedure to the game. Nobody talked about that. People read articles, but people had no true understanding of what the article meant. And that's our fault as people that look to for people for guidance. That's our fault for letting down society. But you had a few wolves out there. People talk about people that charge for information or whatever they do on their platforms. People talk about that. But you know what I'm going to tell you about that there? That's their business. I'm a mind to mind. You know what I'm saying? I got no hate in my blood for nobody on YouTube or none of these people that put in all the effort all the time to make this go forward. And, you know, if they're doing their thing, bless them. You know what I'm saying? What?
I already put the number out there.
What? Bang my line. I said, bang that mug. What's going on? Hello?
All the time to make this go forward. And, you know, if they're doing their thing.
Uh-oh.
Oh, we lost you, man. Call back for real. But on the real, I'm telling you that I want to get Pimp on the line. I'm going to get Pimp to call in. Give me about 5 minutes, Pimp. But what I'm saying to y'all is I remember way back in the gap before Pimp, before all of it, we was doing a mukbang. I think we was eating Wendy's or Taco Bell.
Wendy's.
And you asked me about what exactly, how do I feel about the Iraqi Dinar? And I gave you my feelings. Woo! I'm feeling sentimental.
I see. You going back in the archives.
Man.
I want to talk about what's going on.
What's going on? Pimp, you want to give me a call?
In the Dinar streets. Well, let me do our introduction. I'll start. Normally he's the one, but I'm gonna start tonight because he on 10. I am April BB.
And if y'all don't know, I am Mr. Brando. And welcome to the status of the reinstatement of the Iraqi Dinar IQD chat. Welcome. I ain't yell at y'all.
Hey, Lee. Lee?
Hang up on me, man. No, I'm just kidding.
Did you call me, fool?
No, I'm calling right now. But, you know, as I'm dialing and it starts to ring, I hear Miss April on the video because there's a slight delay. Say, hold on, let me read some internet stuff. I was like, it's already ringing.
Are your ears ringing?
Seriously. Hey, you talk about way back in the day. I remember way back when I first started talking to you guys, like a couple months ago.
Yeah.
No, way back in the day.
Our long, illustrious relationship.
Oh, you know, Miss April, you see now it's going back up. I told you once they shake all those speculators, look at it's going.
Telling you that's a swing trade for me. We just need this RI to happen.
I know. You know, man, we could be rolling in the dokes right now for reals.
Heck yeah.
I think me and you've been watching this so much. I think we got a pretty good idea of the buying and selling habits of these people now.
Yes.
Well,
Agreed.
I got something for both of y'all.
The IQD.
No, it's not even the IQD. I want to talk about the SWIFT system, SWIFTS, and I want to talk about the chip system, CIPS.
Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So what I want people to understand about Iran and where Iran is right now, this is on a straight King of Guru twist, okay? First, understand that the SWIFT system now, basically all payments are through the GPI, which is a blockchain, okay? So you digital currency folks out there that like to scream gang, and Bitcoin and all that there, you guys will appreciate that it's not really a true token or coin, but it's just a method for them to receive or get payments quickly, right? Mm-hmm. So the reason why I keep telling you guys, don't worry about Iran, because Iran has their switch off, meaning that each country has an FCA and they have foreign reserves and foreign currencies, all kinds of different currencies, way more currencies than all of us combined put together. And they have a lot more of it, from rubles to rupiah to all this stuff that they collect from all these countries, and they keep it in. And what happens is when you put your money in SWIFT, basically what happens is you put your money in whatever country of origin it is, it transfers into US dollars and it shoots, you know, used to take it 3 days or 4 days for you to receive payment. Now you can get it at least within 24 hours, and in some good instances between probably 5 and 8, I'm guessing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and probably some intercontinental stuff, 3 to 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's
SWIFT.
That's SWIFT. That's SWIFT. Now you digital currency people, the reason why you guys don't get it is, I don't care what you do, you can't circumvent SWIFT. SWIFT is 70 to 75% of all the world's cash is in US dollars, and it's in SWIFT. And that's what countries sift between each country. And that's why when people tell me, and Pimpe, you one of them, oh, the dollar's going to implode. It's going to blow up. I do believe in a worldwide depression, but not behind the dollar. I'll share that with you guys next. But I don't believe it behind the dollar. And the other part of that is, so Iran is sitting there, and you could tell me, well, they're going to funnel monies through Iran. Well, you could do that, but you can't do it through any banking system that the U.S. can't either log, track, or watch. And then on top of that, you can't use SWIFT, so you can't even transfer your, what do they call those, real into pesos to buy Mexican goods.
Or even if they're holders of dinar. Right?
Oh, yeah. So here's the best part. So let's say, now I'm going to give this is called a spoiler alert, okay? So let's just say Iran is actually holding more dinar than Iraq. Let's just say that for a minute, okay? And the RI happens, and it's $87.50. Guess what happens to Iran? Nothing. You can't spend $1 of it. Not through traditional means. You got to sneak it out of the country. You got to do whatever black market option you're going to do, but you can't. Auctions have no bearing on that.
No, I mean, if Iran had their own auction.
Yeah, you could auction off the money, but who could buy it?
Right.
You understand?
Well, nobody will. Nobody would dare cross the United States. There's just no way it's going to happen.
So when I hear about Tehran and the militias, I told you guys the militias were getting choked out. This is from this, okay? So when SWIFT is off, baby, and then you know what, Pimpe, and this is where I credit you and like Mr. Frazier. I'm going to give you guys some credit. And you know what else you guys taught me? That they want to do business in euros. And so guess what happened?
What?
Euros is putting sanctions on them as well.
Yep.
So they cut off their SWIFT too. So you can only do.
Let me throw this in there. I'm going to throw this in the mix too. Hey, Miss April, this is one of the things I was saying I had a problem about. You know what else happened? They got cut off from cryptocurrencies. They can't even do business with cryptocurrencies. They literally cut off Iran.
So now you can't buy Bitcoin, you can't hedge, you got gold, you can but you can't even use money to buy gold in large institutional buying. Why are you worried about Iran? So you got to look at, I like this example that I heard the other day. This guy was talking to me and he says, Mr. Brando, he says, what as the USA did to Iran? And I said, man, they basically crippled their whole economy, right?
Yeah, they're about to go into the depression.
Right. And you know what he told me? He said, wouldn't you be mad enough you'd shoot down their little drone too?
Do more.
No, I get that. But here's the thing. Before, what happened was they put sanctions on them, but the people that were in power were allowed to use their money. Trump put a lock on their money. These guys are billionaires. He cut them off. All of them. They're straight cut off. So before, they could just sit there and let their people suffer while they continue to just live their lives. But Trump said, no, that ain't happening no more. He cut them all of them off.
Now, so you got to understand this. You can't use chips. You can't use SWIFT. So you can't move large sums of money anywhere you need it to be. So you got to put it by horse, carriage, train, plane, whatever you can do. Stop worrying about Iran. Iran has no forbearance on what we're doing. Okay? So
they won't even make it another month. There's no way in hell they can.
And here, let me tell you something about freedom fighters. Freedom fighters want to get paid just like you do. They're not going to fight a war for free. Even for Allah, they're not going to do that. Okay? Now, you'll have some diehards out there that may try to attempt to do something, but with aggression and swift discrimination, the United States will probably eradicate them from the earth. Now,
what they're hiding from people is they have the protests over there are growing bigger and bigger. Now, we see people are broadcasting out of Hong Kong, and man, there's 3 million. I don't know if you've ever seen any of those videos of the protesters in Hong Kong, but they know how to do it right. They are no joke. 3 million people to the streets. It was an unbelievable scene. But here's the thing now. The people in Iran are protesting too. They're trying to block the signal so we can't see it. But people are able to get in there and videotape with their GoPros. So you guys can go to YouTube and check it out. But you can see, just like over in China, just like in Iran, all these places are suffering because of these sanctions and what's going on. And these are some bad people that's in charge of them, or at least that's what we're told. But, it's just a matter of time before they buckle in. I mean, Xi, what's the guy's name? The China leader, Xi today at the G20, the first thing he wanted to do was meet with Trump. He said he's 90% approved of the trade agreement.
Okay,
yeah,
hold on. Let me stop you there. The trade agreement's not going to go through till past 2020. It's guaranteed.
It's not going to go through past 2020?
No, it's going to go at least to 2020.
Okay.
They've agreed on small points, but they don't have 90% of anything done.
We got an Iraq question.
Okay? Let me tell you all the truth here real quick. And it's not that Pempe's wrong. The media wants you to believe that with this being done, it somehow is going to resurrect China and the stock market to hitting over 27,000, which is a great ploy. I get it. I understand it. But if you read all alternative sources, 95% of them are negative. It's not going through until at least 2020. And as a person that holds Vietnamese dong to a degree higher than at least 500 notes, I want to stretch out until 2020 until I see new trade with Vietnam. Big people. I want to see Samsungs of the world. I want to see like major Coke distributorships. I want to see a major clothing factory ship go over there where it's a straight Vietnam to a consumer type of trade. I will be ecstatic then. That's why I am so bullish right now on Vietnam, because they're next up, but they're in the batting cage. But Iraq is on the batter's plate, if that makes sense. Okay?
Yeah, the market will hit tomorrow, 27, just off of the possibility. That's for sure.
Now,
we're already at 26,500 right now.
Now, Pempe,
jump up. Yeah.
I got to ask you a question. If it's 27,000, are you going to bet that the reinstatement of the Iraqi Dinar is going to happen on Monday?
Woo, man, I don't know about. Oh man, no, not on Monday. You know what we're waiting for.
Right.
You know what we're waiting for. Look,
right.
I got some bad things happening in my bank account that I just found out about. That's affecting my house. Me and you will talk about it later on. But look, I sat down with Anita and I told her this. Look, we got to make a wise decision here. Based on what I think I know, I think it's better if we take the risk and take this extra $500 and buy some more dinars. And so she's backing me on this decision, only because I think that's going to happen first.
Okay, so let me give them the call that I gave earlier today. I told everybody way back months ago, I got criticized from a lot of people out there saying, Alok's not. Well, people first said Alok was proxy. And then when I told everybody they're going to get rid of Alok, everybody laughed. They're like, really? Hasn't happened yet. Really? Hadn't happened yet. Everybody I've told you is supposed to be in an office position is in an office position. Maybe not the office position they're supposed to be in, but they've been replaced. The next was Alok. If you guys noticed that Ahmed Ali Alwa is supposed to be the new central bank governor of Iraq. Now, I told you guys that the government was seated. I still stand by that. I would tell everybody that they passed the two most important positions the other day. They passed interior and defense. Those are the only things that were up for argument.
Yeah, the proxies are filled.
The proxies are filled. I told you guys it was done, and it was done. Now, the next part that I told you was, I told you that Alok was supposed to get the X 2 weeks out after Ramadan. I was straight wrong. I was wrong. He didn't. But I told you, with Alok being so quiet, I want to hear from Alok and Sadr, didn't I?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't hear from Sadr. I'm assuming Sadr's cool with everything because he's not saying anything. You know what I'm saying? But what you got to also assume is in all of this, with the talks of Alok being replaced under the special, what do you call that, Pempe? What was it? Special what, rights?
The special grades.
Now, you guys, I heard YouTubers earlier tell me, Mr. Brando, so-and-so said that they ain't worried about that. I said, well, really? Well, they're not worried about the placement of the central bank governor?
That's the big one.
What?
Yeah,
You mean to tell me you ain't worried about that? Where are you in this investment? Who are you in this investment? I told y'all this was going to happen, and it's happening. I'm not just saying it to toot my own horn, but my boy is on point like a pencil, okay? He ain't always on time, but he's on point, okay?
Who is?
I'm not telling you who he is. You want to know who he is? Subscribe to Patreon.
Oh, no. You said your boy, so I don't even know. I didn't know who you're talking about.
Between him?
So this is what we know. We know what happened with what's coming up. We know the SBA is coming up. We know this is why we see Iraq over the last couple months start turning and burning. All of a sudden, magically, they started. Remember how if the news came in maybe like once a month or twice a month, you get some good news. Then all of a sudden, it was like once a week. Now It's like hourly. You're like, what the hell is going on? And then what I did is I jumped back and looked at this old IMF report on, it had been, I think it was 2013, where they cut them off from them SBA payments. And then they told them, if you want to get this SBA payment coming up in July 2019, they had to meet all these requirements. Well, guess what? They're there.
Well,
that's why I think when everybody's jumping up about the third, we know they had to have all the information, all the things lined up, all the things done. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah. What did they have to do? There's no more ISIS. They're gone. They said they had to open up other branches of banks. It's done. They had to pass 3 audits. 3. And they passed them. Okay. They had to stay within their auctions, 2 to 3% of possible corruptions. They've done it. Passed the laws about counterfeiting and making sure there's no forgeries. That's done.
Mm-hmm.
They had to put in their constitutions. They had to fill their cabinet members. They had to, those people who were accused.
And hold on.
Yeah.
They had to start the anti-corruption campaign to make some arrests. That's done.
Yes, they did. And who came in to do the rest?
Who? Enlighten us.
Interpol. 613 people.
That's right. So far, and they got 1,000 they're going after. It's including some large fish. And I've already told you guys, I'm not worried about Maliki, because Maliki, when the cabinet got seated, you didn't see any militia attacks. So everybody out there that likes to bang that drum of until Iran is out of Iraq, listen, that's like saying that Louisiana is going to be out of Texas, or that Oklahoma is going to be out of Texas, or that Mexico is going to be out of Texas. These are border neighbors, and all those cross cultures and pollinations going to happen, and people from those areas are going to move and transcribe and be a part of something. And so when Iran's never going to be out of Iraq, ever. But
no, they're like that. They're like that brother or that one friend that you love him to death, but he gets on your nerves.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Now
so
with a lot gone, you cannot.
We know they're there. And this last Ernst & Young report that came out with flying colors. Remember, it's that thing is funny because I remember saying, "Dude, have they done their last audit yet?" Me and you were talking about it, and like the next week it was done. So I was looking forward to that, and so they came out. Plus, they had that what do they call it? There's another group that comes in and does an overall write up on everything that's there on behalf of the IMF.
Yeah,
and they gave them flying colors. So the IMF's like, okay, it looks like it's good. So I don't, let's get that CBI governor in there.
Let's remove a proxy. Now, I never called Alak a proxy. I always figured it to be the CBI governor because he made major moves. And he did a great job up until the point of actually the reinstatement. He got inflation low. He got banking inclusion. He did a lot of great things. But you know what he didn't do? It's like getting to the 1 yard line, didn't cross the throne. He even put his name on the currency. People don't realize getting rid of Alak at this point is going to cause one of 2 things to happen because of a little sin called vanity. Alak is very vain. Alak wants to go down in history as being the CBI governor. Everybody right now talks about Shabibi, how smart Shabibi was. Shabibi this, Shabibi that. So Alak basically shot his middle finger at everybody and put his name on the currency. Now, he could say it's for security measures or whatever, but he could have used any name. He could have put the God Most High. He could have put Alhamdulillah. He could have put, Assalamu alaikum rahmatullah, to the 10th power. He could have done anything he wanted to do. He could have, but he didn't. He put his name. Right, but he put his name. Now, he's infamous now in Iraqi culture, right? Good, bad, or indifferent. So, with Alak being on the talking block, which I knew, and I told you guys, it makes you kind of wonder, why would you fire your CFO this late in the game? You got to remember, Iraq is like an IPO. They're about to launch. Their stock is their currency, as amongst other things. But why would they fire their CFO and then hide it under the blanket of the ministries? You guys got to understand, the ministries were always a joke. It wasn't like they were waiting for the ministers to be seated. Those ministers have been in place and been in office for a long time. And I would bet
So you got to admit, we're feeling good about everything that we're seeing. Now, let's add in the kicker. Mm-hmm. What have we been recording and playing for everybody for those that missed it?
Well, you can't talk about recordings and playings on here about the banks that we did on Patreon. You can't talk about those on here.
Okay, I thought we was going to share the love a little bit.
No, we did. We did. On Patreon, I actually have recordings.
You played them on Patreon, yeah.
of me on the phone with the bank and them discussing our investment on the phone with me. So if you are a member of Patreon, you can hear the phone conversation. You can love me or hate me, but it's on Patreon. I'm not just trying to say that.
It's not just one phone call neither. There's a handful of people did it. So, it's all good.
And after we hang up on here, we'll probably go for a few minutes with Pimpy on the other line. He'll tell you his experience personally.
Oh, yeah. I can tell you about mine, definitely. Okay, so that's what's going on. I know people keep asking me about the dung, but I didn't expect anything to happen right away. We know that once they got put on that currency, that manipulation list, then they are, they had to provide some information to the U.S. to make sure they stay off that list. I know the information was sent. I was guessing that it would take a couple of months before they negotiate what they want to do. And we're probably about halfway there now. I keep looking, but I'm not expecting anything. Not until probably later on, later on this summer. But for the most part, I do watch. I do look for any kind of signs, but I'm not expecting anything yet. You know what I mean? I think that's going to take a little time.
I don't see the actual China trade agreement taking place until probably March or February of 2020. And for certain reasons to stimulate economies for both quarters, you got to remember China's GDP was basically stagnant. So was ours. We're having huge GDP growth right now with consumer spending and spending on defense. So I don't actually see us really wanting to stop this because China is slightly benefiting from it too. You know what I'm saying? So it's not benefiting to the degree like it's a great thing, but it's causing them to open up new trade agreements, which they need also. Nobody needs to do $100 billion with one person and do $40 with somebody else. The money needs to be spread around, and because of what happened to China way back, like Pimpe told me, with Japan, they freed China because Japan was kicking their butt for a long time. And so we freed China by us kicking Japan's butt. So every so often we give somebody an opportunity to shine. And that's what's going on with China right now. They're being G-checked from the feet up, from the neck up to the feet up because they're overstepping their bounds. They're doing things that they shouldn't do. And that's what happened in Japan.
They're doing some real national security issues. This G5, this Huawei is literally their systems coming here to the United States or around the world and spying on everything we do. And when they got caught, Trump's like, that ain't going to happen. You guys are going to have to change all that. Their motherboards that they were building for us, they were sending back to us, had chips in there, sending our information back to them. And I don't know if you remember this, but you remember all of a sudden in the military, we started having ships crashing into each other for some reason. Both helicopters and jets were crashing. People couldn't understand what the hell was going on. That's what was going on. They were practicing the things that they have developed to stifle our military because they were creating our damn hardware into our computers. I mean, I don't know where any country in their right mind would outsource any type of computer stuff to be created by another country. That's it's a national threat. And so Trump, that ain't happening, man. So, he's put his foot down, and that's the real holdup. That plus he wants them to go ahead and turn over those individuals who, they really were traitors to us. That's a whole nother story, but I guarantee that's a big part of it.
Hold on. There's a question.
Real quick, I'm gonna throw this out there. Bitcoin at 11,300 again, and climbing.
You work for Bitcoin, don't you?
Okay. What's the question?
So they're like, so someone's referring to your bank call. They said that one part was quoted 0.0084, and then another. I guess the actual rate is 0.0084.
No. What they're referring to is a conversation we had in the chat between a couple individuals where someone said that they could get parts per million 8,300. That's 0.0084. If you actually look at the rate in which I talk about on Patreon, that differs. It's not the same. So I don't go off of what someone tells me. I go off what I know.
No, the 0.84, all that is, what you're talking about, is it costs about $840 to get $1 million is what it is. That's what that rate is.
Yeah, but this person got the whole number confused and said it was, if you gave them $1 million IQD, they'd give you back $8,400, which is absolutely not true.
No, they're backwards. If you go the other way around, it is you get for every, what is that? $1 of our dollars, you get 1,124 of their dollars.
Right.
You know, you ever see that number? It's like 1124
right.
one way, but the other way it's 0.084. That's what that is.
It says there's a trend of China and Russia getting off the petrodollar. Are there instruments?
They've been trying to do that for 10 years now. But
and Mark,
actually, they're in a position to do it.
The dollar is 70% of the world's currency. So it would take massive amounts of dumping before that could ever happen. The dollar is going to be here for a long time, folks. Hate it, don't love it, want to bet on gold, want to bet on Bitcoin, whatever. But fiat pushes the circle round and round. Everything else is just filler, except for oil.
Yeah, that's the one place where we disagree. It's going to crash.
I ain't going to crash.
Tony Ingram says, if they move this way, then the RV will never happen. Vietnam currency has a low value. I'm worried.
Move what way?
I'm not sure. That's
the only way Vietnam will not revalue their currency is if China and America make a swift trade agreement and somehow they agree that China doesn't have to revalue their currency in that trade agreement.
Have the auction stopped?
No. The auctions
aren't. People keep calling it an RV. What do you?
It's not an RV. It's a reinstatement. There's no such thing.
The dong is an RV, right?
The dong is an RV.
Yeah, we kind of went over that. The dong is an RV. The dinar is an RI.
Now, here's the other part about the whole dong China. You want to see China and Vietnam stretch this out. You've got to establish more trade partners than Samsung. Samsung's the biggest, the most prominent, exporter out of Vietnam. You need more exporters. So until dong catches on, you could look at that revaluation to go back into like pennies, points. You know what I'm saying? Like 4 cents, 3 cents, 7 cents.
I'll take 4 cents.
I mean, I would too.
I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I know I anticipated being higher, but the reality, there's something in the back of my brain saying, there's a good possibility you're going to start out around 4 or 5%. I think they're going to start strike an agreement with the United States so they can stay competitive. But the truth is, they should be around 42 cents is where they should be. But either way, I'll take a 4 cents because with that 4 cents, there's a lot I could do with the Vietnam dong that I have and really make a world of difference on my $4 million. There's a lot of things I could do.
Yeah, that's a windfall like no other. Let's ask another question.
Anybody tell me, are we there yet? Ken says, can anybody tell me, are we there yet? Someone else.
If we were there, why would we be on here?
Right, and someone else, when can we exchange?
Man, close, so.
I mean, here you got to appreciate the journey. To me, this is where the history of it all comes into play. Everything we've been through, the geopolitical side of it, what we saw, what we knew was right, how we knew that other people didn't get it right, but we knew was right. We stuck to it. The idea is that, are you there? No, you're not at the bank right now physically, but what you are is you're at the cusp of greatness.
So do you want to touch on the CBI governor and the stuff that went on today?
So the CBI governor got masked behind all these the commissioners, the ministers of whatever, MO whatever, and they snuck it in, like Pempe said, and said, hey, and by the way, we're gonna hire a subgroup of people, and we want to bring in a governor position for the CBI. We want to bring in a manure position. We're bringing this. We're bringing that. We're bringing this and that. And a lot of people miss that. So that position of CBI governor is kind of like saying, I'm in charge of the money supply of Iraq. And I would bet dollars to donuts to this Alawi guy. He's a Sauder guy. Sauder wasn't going to allow the people to pass unless he got his way. Now, I don't like Sauder as his opposition to America, but I do like Sauder the fact that if he's going to strong arm Mahandi to do what he needs to do, then I agree with that. Now, I think that with that, it goes Interior or Minister. I think it's going to probably Minister. He probably gave up on that one. Interior, he didn't budge on because that's a direct correlation to the money. I think he said, you got to put this guy in. Now, this guy, his uncle was, kind of a, whatever. But he himself is a technocrat and everything else. So I like him.
Look, let's be honest. We're going to get behind anybody and everybody that's going to get us to our goal. Good or bad, we want to get behind them so that we can achieve what we want to achieve. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not lying about that one.
Yeah. There's what, you know, it's hard because, you know, we have this strategy. We, all of us, me, you, Miss Hip, have been talking about this strategy. I'm sure with other people as well. As we see other areas of our strategy starting to move, you know, there's always, it increases the intensity for this to happen for us so that we don't miss that wagon. You know what I mean? Or a bigger portion of the wagon, not all of it, but, you know, there's just a lot of things happening all at once right now. I'm watching gold and silver start to move. They are creeping up and it's not catching people's attention. What makes me worry about that is because if they are moving up as far as they are, and people are suppressing their value and are still creeping up, that means the demand for those two is much higher than people are aware of. And if that's the case, you know, that there's something going on and not everybody's aware of it. I know that sounds kind of conspiracy thing, but today, like I said, I was listening to these people I left it here until they put me to sleep from Britain talking about how their billionaires are now moving into the gold and silver market. Missy, but I gotta talk to you later on about a thing I heard this guy talk about on silver that'll blow your mind. But it's not just there. Also here in the United States, you're seeing our billionaires start to move towards gold and silver too. So I think what they're doing is just preparing a little bit.
Right.
You know, I don't think it's time to push the panic button, but I think they're saying, okay, it's time for us to slowly move in that direction. Obviously, if they move too quick, people would notice that. You would see a panic in the market real quick. So they're not going to do it really fast, but they're definitely sending their herd in that direction. There's no doubt about it.
I think the idea behind what's happening is you got to fully understand that the policy has to match the procedure. And with the procedures that are happening right now, as far as Iraq goes, as far as China goes, Turkey goes, when you look at people that the United States puts on sanctions or that goes after, it all basically, all roads go back to a few countries, one of them being Iran, one of them being China, one of them being Russia. Now, you got to understand this too. And Zimbabwe. And that's why the Zim is dead. Like, dude, even if
they are on a 1-year sanction, my man, and you know what they said? Trump told them, liquidate all your bonds. That's what he told them. Remember, we talked about that. I mentioned that like a couple months ago. We were talking about which one goes first. I said, I thought the Zim would go first, is what I thought. And then I thought the Dong and then the Dinar. I mean, I'm wrong, but I'm just saying there was a reason why I thought the Zim was going to go, but then all of a sudden they just started getting rid of one currency. They came out with a whole nother one. Nobody else can get their hands on it. I'm like, I give up on them people, man, for reals. And then all of a sudden they just dropped this new bomb on us. And I was like, wow. And this is right, you know, halfway through the sanctions that were put on them for 1 year. They seem to be moving pretty quickly through, though, by the way.
It says, Mr. Brando, once the IQD RVs, will you be making a video when you go? Well, I know, I'm just reading. Will you be making a video of your cash in? Yeah, if I'll video record a bank about my questions about how I can do things with the IQD, I damn sure going to go in there and do a video with me going to the bank, with me exchanging my currency.
We're going to be doing like the crip walk and dancing around. You know,
oh, yeah.
Like a little shuttle butt.
And you know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to do a video on how to check your currency. And I'll probably do it for the masses. You know, I want people to understand how to, you know, your currency, good or bad.
Let's just kind of throw something out there real quick. How soon after we cash in is the Vegas celebration party?
Mm-hmm.
I think we should do within like, you know, a week or two. You know, maybe a week. Sooner the better.
Well, you know. You okay?
Mm-hmm.
What's going on with that right there?
Oh, nothing.
I see some gangsters in the house tonight.
On the video, I can see it right now, but she looks all serious.
No, Somebody's got their matter of opinion. So woman to woman, we can talk offline. I'll deal with it. Go ahead.
I'm cool with that. I'm not.
They must be talking about shoes. Like what kind of shoes
they probably talk about them shiny kangaroo coins that I got like in my hand. You want some of them. But I'll tell you this. Nobody in YouTube land has ever given you a first count assessment of a bank conversation. It's always secondhand. It's always, I heard this or I heard that. I put you on the phone with the bank. No one told you that our lack was going to get replaced. I told you that. And I'm not just telling you this, I told you that. I'm telling you this, I told you that. You know why? Because you guys tell me this stuff. You guys point me in that position. You guys are the star of this show. I'm just the one regurgitating what you guys send to me. I am not a star. I don't want to be popular. You know what I want to be? I want to be right. I want to go to the bank. I want you guys to go and exchange your currency at will. You know, like being 100% accurate is not key to me anymore. I used to get crunk over that. You know what I get crunk over now? When I talk to the bank and say, I'll do this and I'll do that when you do this and when you do that. And that's on Patreon. You can catch that all day. Now, when I leave here, Pimpe is going to give his first account, what happened to him when he went to the bank. And I know it's going to be his first account because he called me right after he left the bank.
I called you right after.
And don't call your damn bank. Let me tell you all this. If you call your bank and you don't have a relationship with your banker, you will get less information than none. So don't call your bank. That's dumb. You call your bank, they're going to dish you. You're going to be mad.
A couple of little small things for those people who are into it. If you haven't heard, Q finally posted for the first time in a long time. You know, whether you follow him or not.
I don't.
So I take Q with a grain of salt. But at the same time, there is something about what's going on with him. But he finally posted for the first time in at least a month. Right? There's only 3 posts, are real small. Basically, the message is, make sure you fight for God. Make sure you fight for country. Be ready. And so I was like, okay. Now, here's the thing that we talked about earlier. And Miss April, and whether or not you believe in it, follow Q or believe in it or not, people call it conspiracy, call it what. But here's something that somebody reminded me about, and Miss April probably could comment on this. Q told everybody that they are going to take down the internet. So let's just say hypothetically that does happen. Remember, we're talking about the cryptocurrency situation?
There would be no show, Pimpe. If they took down the internet,
Pimpe,
there would be no
I would
show.
purposely go live if they took down the internet just to show that we're live.
But they can't. I mean, what I'm saying is we would.
It's part of the Information Act. You can't take down the internet. It's against the law.
You know, unless you follow Q, you don't see the bigger picture. The thing is this, and that is they have the ability to do it. Okay? There's no doubt about it.
Pimpe, so do I. I have the ability to take down the internet.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just not pay the bill?
Well, if I don't pay my bill here, they'll take down my internet.
Yeah.
The internet's going to be around like electricity.
But, you know, so the theory behind it is this, you know, there's Trump's doing way too much. He's damaging what they've accomplished. And so Q's saying that they're threatening to turn, and they have, again, people think I'm crazy. You guys got to remember, in Obama's years, the so-called net neutrality, they gave the power to a company in the Silicon Valley that controls the internet. And we used to, as a government, we did. Here in the United States, we never allowed no other country to have that kind of power. But under Obama, he gave it to a company in Silicon Valley, took it away from the Americans, and our government, and gave it to them.
So
now,
what away?
somebody said that Trump took it back, but I hope so.
Okay, hang on.
Conspiracy.
There we go. Where we go one, we go all.
Okay, here we go. So I'll tell you this. I just read something. I don't trust any banks. I hate to say this, that if you don't trust the banks and you're in this investment, when you go to exchange your currency, they're going to give you currency back. So if you don't trust the bank, I was told by bankers, and you can hear this, you can't just order like $1 million and you got not flagged by every FBI, CIA, GOF, whatever 3-letter government agency, they're going to flag you. Okay. Yeah. So don't expect to go into the bank and be like demanding $10 million. Don't do that. That's not going to happen. Now you want to move it to
paperwork you have to fill out for a certain dollar amount.
Right.
And you have to have a legitimate reason and where you're going with it.
Okay.
Did you read Mark's statement, Mr. B? There is a trend of China and Russia getting off the petrodollar, negatively affecting the dollar value. Are there instruments you are looking at to preserve our wealth?
Yeah, it's called SWIFT. When SWIFT GPI stops working, which is like 70 to 75% of the world's currency in dollars, then I'll start to worry about the US dollar. Until I see that change where there's some type of influx in the chip system, and even people like Iran can't take advantage of it, Turkey can't take advantage of it because of sanctions. Until our power yield stops from there, then I'll start considering these other clearinghouses that are basically, you got to understand, the yuan is a worthless currency. So why would I transfer anything into yuan to get anything else?
Yeah.
I mean, the yuan's nothing, and the yuan and China's broke.
Yeah, big time. They stretch themselves so thin with all the crap they got going on,
and they're leveraging themselves against the One Road, One Initiative Act. They're leveraging themselves. That means they're out there giving out loans, and they'll loan you construction people, and all these people will move to your town. That's globalization to its T. So if you're a nationalist and you guys talk about loving Trump and this and that, you should hate to see anything about China. China should make your skin crawl.
Yeah, that's why I don't put no faith in any real currency outside of two: gold, silver. That's it.
I put my faith in 3: gold, silver, and the U.S. dollar. And I'll tell you why. It's been the world's currency since the 70s. It's going to be the world's currency until somebody makes a better mousetrap, and it hasn't been done yet.
You know what I put my faith in?
Going to the bank?
God.
There you go.
God?
In God we trust.
Always. Everybody else must do what?
Oh, good Lord,
Pay
man.
cash.
I don't even want to go down that road. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention to the Senate hearings, but you know how when you get sworn in, and at the end you said, as God is my witness, or so help me God, the Democrats removed that. They will not mention God. I'm like, oh my God, that's not that we want to get political. But
Pimpé, my mom is a Bible-thumping Baptist. She'll make you swear on a stack of Bibles right now, and she's a Democrat to her soul.
Right.
And God bless her little old heart. If you told her that there was no God, she'd fight you.
She would fight Pimpé.
And she's old. She'd fight Pimpé.
She would fight Pimpé on his views, period.
Oh, yeah. She would disagree with you fundamentally everything you say.
We would have a Sunday with the Bible, man. Trust me.
Oh, I know. My mom's a heavy religious person that goes to Bible study.
Watches CNN.
Oh yeah, MSNBC.
And she just she can
go
toe to toe with some politics.
She loves, and she listens to the show.
She listens to the show. She probably listening now.
She's probably listening now.
She takes in all the fake news.
And watches CNN or MSNBC.
And she was debating with her son this morning over politics.
On her way to the pulmonary doctor.
Yeah, I know. That's not her business.
No, can you imagine though? My entire family are hardcore embedded Democratic warriors. Like literally, you got to remember that we're part of the caucus members. We're part of the delegates. And so my cousins are like, "What the hell happened to you?" I'm like, "It's a long story." But you know, they're hardcore Democrats.
Okay.
So
hold on.
My own family's cut me off.
When is the gold back USTN to be released? Before or after the RI/RV?
Never worry.
What is USTN?
That's the new United States Treasury note that's supposedly coming out with, based upon the whole fact that they're going to denounce the whole. That's a lot, but they don't seem to understand that. But it's not going to happen. I'm going to tell you right now. There's no gold back. There'll be an asset backed, and it could be the same greenbacks you hold. And the asset backed currency is going to hit the streets.
Well, they'll go to the gold standard. I don't know about gold back, because gold back is how you lose gold. But if you go to the gold standard, is how you prevent your governments from spending more than what you hold in gold, which is a great way to keep inflation down. As a matter of fact, it's a proven system. So people don't realize this. There is a difference between a gold-backed currency versus a gold standard. You know what I mean?
Until somebody like Zimbabwe or the Philippines has more gold than most of these big countries. And then all of a sudden they realize that, you know what, we don't have a gold-backed system. We have a African-backed system or a Philippines-backed system. So gold is out.
Okay, so Mr. Brando.
Yep.
So Sammy D wants to know, what are we looking for on Monday?
I would love confirmation that a lock is out. If a lock is out,
I say we're looking for the appointment of the CBI governor.
Yeah. If we see the appointment of the CBI governor the next couple of days, I'll probably quit my job.
So I'm sorry. Wait. But
I probably would. I'd be like,
dude, I would be like a crackhead. I couldn't sleep because I'd be staring at the TV waiting for that announcement, man.
Wait, hold on, you guys. So, but my understanding that Twitter message we saw earlier, what was that source of that?
That was some random guy on Twitter that said, "Congratulations to so and so and so and so. He was voted in as CBI.
We never got that from our intel, right?
No, not from our intel.
I just want to make sure.
No, he never confirmed it.
And then a lot of people have said that a lot of the exchanges.
Did somebody say on Twitter? Somebody just confirmed?
Yeah, but you can't. It's like me confirming it. Like it's not real.
Seen anything confirmed.
I'll send you the tweet. I'll send you the tweet.
Look, Anthony Whitemore said,
"We know you can't trust no damn tweets." But I'm just saying, though, I went to all the news.
Pimpe, hush. Pimpe, Anthony said Brandon's mom would beat you like a rented mule.
Oh, God. My mom would beat you into submission.
And with the Bible of all damn things, too.
And my mom would be like, and you're not a good boy, and you're not this, and you're not nice, and you know what? I'm going to talk. Let me call your grandmom right now.
She started speaking in tongues.
Oh, yeah, she would. And I love my mommy to death, but oh man, she gets you.
I know she would.
So Susan Sam said Exchange of America had dinar a couple of days ago. I want to put that out there because people were saying that they weren't able to find dinar. I did see some people who heading towards eBay.
They have the 25,000 uncirculated.
Unless you have a black light, don't buy your dinar on eBay. Please, for me.
Yeah, eBay makes me nervous. There's one.
Me too. There's word
if the this on Exchange America because I was on it last night. I know they have the 25,000 uncirculated, and then they have some random circulated currencies, but I don't think they have anything else.
Hey, hold on. I got to read this real quick. KDP Review says, Mr. Brando in April, there's a word if the Dow hits 27, then following weekend, the IQ, RV, RD. What do you feel about that? Okay, first of all, I don't feel that if the Dow hits 27,000 that anything will happen. If the Dow hits 27,000, it did because of the pump up for the China trade talks. It was a good job. The markets felt it, and they felt heartfelt about it. Number two, I feel like that has nothing to do with the currency that I hold. Nor does anywhere does it say that if the IQD or if NASDAQ hits 27,000, you can reinstate your currency. So I don't believe in that. That is somebody else that's saying that. And I'm not saying they're wrong. What I'm saying is I don't believe in that. That's not like I don't believe in tiers. I don't believe in groups. Now, I'm not saying they don't exist. I don't believe in myself. I'm not a follower. I'm a leader. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna tell you you want to tell me there's a group? I want to be the leader. I want to have like my own like 40 people behind me. I want to do this. I'm not about to follow behind someone because they say they know more about me than IQD. Unless they can talk about the IQD or any of the fiat currency out there.
Don't feel that's good.
Well, no, you can't. You can't talk fiats with me because if I
I mean the Dow part.
Yeah, and the Dow either. You can't talk the stock. You can't walk the walk if you ain't talking the talk.
Maximum Play says the RV has already begun. China wanted the U.S. to begin June 25th. China is buying gold at an accelerated rate.
Okay, but what proof do you have of that? And not saying anything bad.
They are. That I can prove.
Well, I know that. I can prove that too. I've reported it several times. So what? China's buying a bunch of gold. So what? Russia's buying a bunch of gold.
But China
Who cares? You're talking about two worthless currencies.
Yeah.
Two worthless currencies.
But no, here's what people don't understand. Do you know how much China lost over their gold just to keep this fight up with Trump? They lost a huge.
They auctioned off a bunch of it just to fight off the devaluation of their own currency. So gold is expendable. Don't put your faith in gold. Put your faith in what you can see.
The report is at least a minimum of 1/3 of their surplus is gone. And 1/3 is big when it comes to gold and this fight that we're talking about. That's a lot of gold. And they had stored up for a long time.
There's a big time argument about a fiat being based upon, precious metal, gold.
Well, that would be a biometal backed currency, whether it's the gold or silver, most likely gold. A gold standard makes more sense to me than a gold backed currency. And the reason for that is I know I was saying gold back earlier, but then it dawned on me that we would run into the same situation that we did prior to 1913. So, where foreign countries are buying our gold back currency and then exchanging it for the gold and stack it up. So, but a gold standard, on the other hand, is different altogether.
I'll go out there on a limb. I'll probably get criticized for saying this. If it was me, if I was going to back my currency in anything, I'd back it in information.
Yeah, you should be on the information kick.
Yeah, if I could back my currency in anything, I'd back it in information like a cryptocurrency. I would. And I'd have the richest currency in the world because information is more important right now than air.
You sound like Facebook and Libra coin.
I'm just trying to tell you.
Yeah, but I'm gonna store up on gold and silver like a bad boy.
I'm not gonna buy it, but I'm not gonna make it 50% of my portfolio either. I'm gonna make it an appropriate mark.
No, mine will be like at minimum 80%.
Oh God, you'll be. You know what, Pepe? You know you'll be one of those old guys that I know. I go by and visit that has like bags of nickels by them. I'll be like, Pepe, what are you gonna do with those nickels? I'll be like, let's go buy some nachos. You'll be like, no, I'm saving these nickels for when the world economy collapses, and it's never gonna happen.
$100, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. I have some kangaroo coins, you know, stuff like that.
Well, those are the ones of value.
Nickels.
Those are the ones that hold value.
Yeah, if they're numismatic, you know what I mean? Pneumonic coins.
Oh, don't hate on the coin. Don't be a hater. Don't go there.
Don't go there.
Are you kidding me? Please, I love it. I support that. You know what I mean? But tell me, I would love to have one of those Rwanda.
So, speaking of Rwanda, what's going on with Zimbabwe?
Okay.
They dumped the US dollar. What?
They did. They went back to the
It's illegal.
Yeah.
US dollars are
They're
illegal?
eliminating the MCP in Zimbabwe.
No, you want that, Miss April. We want all countries to stop having dual currencies. That's how, if you are invested in their currency, that's how it goes up in value. So if you hold Zim dollars, yes, stop using US dollars. We want dinar, stop using US dollars. Vietnam, stop using US dollars. And start using your own currency so that it accumulates value and it goes up in value on exchange.
Okay.
Well, this has been a real candid conversation.
Man,
almost like a rant, I would say. Are there any more questions?
Let me see. Mr. Brando, once the IQD RVs, will you be making a video when you go cash in your IQD?
I read that one.
Did you read that one already?
Yeah, I did.
My bad. Don't kill the messenger, Pimpay. Keep it up. I'm gonna invite my mom over here to get you. Are Wells Fargo and HSBC the most favored banks?
Chase and Wells Fargo, I think.
I would say, yeah.
Yeah, somebody asked in the on Facebook about what about Wells Fargo, and I think Pimpay, what did you say about Wells Fargo?
When we go on Patreon next.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about Wells Fargo when we go on there next.
Okay.
So let's hang it up and let's get ready for Patreon then, okay?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Okay. We're gonna go live on Patreon if you want to join us. Just join one of the tiers and have some fun. We're gonna have a candid conversation about where we're at, what's going on, what we're doing, and probably we'll disagree on everything. But you know what? We agree on one thing. We're all going to the bank soon, and we know that we're going to exchange that money for gold, silver, Bitcoin, USD, whatever. Well, first will be USD. So you know,
maybe sooner than you think, and that's what we're gonna talk about.
Yes, and probably sooner. Yeah, sooner. I think big time than you think. So hey. This was impromptu. Thanks for tuning in. All you Patreon members, stand by. We're going to get started here in just a couple seconds or minutes. Miss BB will take us out. Pimp, we'll talk in 5 minutes, okay?
Will do, sir. Just send me the link to Facebook and I'm on it.
Done.
God bless everybody. Have a good one.
God bless you, and God bless everybody out there.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
You got it?
No, you got it.
I ain't got my glasses on. Sorry.
Right there. We got